There was a lot of hustle bustle around Nancy Guthrie's home. And now the streets are clear, from my understanding. So today is Saturday. We're going to mark that down on our sheet. It's Saturday, February 7th of 2026. The time is 2:45 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Here's the map when we first started out on the 3rd. Now, when I say it's day 2, day 5, whatever, here for my own particular use, here is how I figure days. And we're going to do it this way. Well, here, I can do this. The timeline. The timeline started early morning, 2:48 a.m. on the 1st of February. So how I figure it, instead of just going February 1st, February 2nd, I have to go in 24-hour shifts. So it may seem like it throws things off. So the first day would be from February 1st at 2:48 a.m. to February 2nd at 2:48 a.m. Then that's day 1. That's how I figure it. I know it may seem odd. Just bear with me, my darlings, okay? Let me be the odd one. So now we are going to use the pendulum again. Then I'm going to get out the cards, because there were some things yesterday that I got after the reading, and it almost felt like I blanked out for a few seconds. And like I was being, wow, look at this pendulum going. And like I was, no, oh, okay. All right, pendulum, show us. Do you see how it's turning and pointing? I'm just going to stay here, and I have my elbow resting on my, oh, no, it's okay. Not you. See, I see rest, and oh my goodness. Okay, pendulum, you may continue. I have my elbow sitting on my, let's say it that way, on my leg, just to make sure that I stay as steady as possible. Okay, pendulum, show us the area in which you feel is really important. Show us in that area. Now I'm going to start moving, because I can feel that there's an energy pull this way. Okay. So here is her home. There's the pendulum. But you see she's not there. You see how it's acting? Can you give us an idea of where she is? Where is she? I'm trying to do this so you can see the pendulum, my darling. So there we go. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm moving my arm. It's hard to hold still. All right, here we are. All right, pendulum. I'm going to move and you show me. Do you see? Now watch. You will see an energy shift. And it will start circling. Yeah. I'm going to get a little closer. Okay. I don't know. I want you to see this so much. I don't know why this national park has anything to do with it. But it's obviously away from her home now. And right here is the Tucson International Airport. Let me show that to you. Was she at the, I'm sure she was not at the airport. Oh, I'm sorry, you're hearing my son. He's in a game tournament in the background. Yes, we live here, my darlings. That's it. We live. You're hearing a cat snore in the background, and I don't have a dog. My son. Oh boy, lots of energy. Let's see. No, it keeps pushing away from her home in this area and going up and through here. Up and through here. We're going to put this to the side. We have the key here. Give me a second. I'm going to get my cards out and we're going to read on this. All right, my darlings, here we are back again. I'm using a different combination of cards today. So the information that I got after our reading yesterday is that all of the red stuff that was on her porch and on her threshold, and I'm sure it goes into the house, is what I'm shown. It shows that it came from her nose, as in having a nosebleed. It could be, I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. If she's on any type of blood thinner. Okay. Now, you've not seen this deck of cards before. This is a tarot. This is a gypsy witch. These were my grandmother's. I think we'll get good information from them. I'm going to start out with these. This is a combination of my House of Zelda cards and a cartomancy deck. So now we're going to lay out, and now I want to know, where is Nancy and who did this? But we have to take things one at a time. Okay, cards. Lots of energy, but the energy feels different today. Time is needed. Stolen. Look harder. A childlike new beginning. Poetic justice for a man. Time to look closer. So we have both, and look, they're like both jokers, only they are gargoyles. This is a gargoyle and this is a knight on a horse. Haunted by the past. Okay, this is telling me the story that I really wanted to figure out. I'm just going to say this coming out of the, I know, and this seems a little jumbled because the energy is jumbled, and I'm going to tighten it up here in a second. I keep saying, oh, I'm not going to say anything about law enforcement. I'm going to say it now. In my opinion, what the heck is this sheriff doing? He has said things, then retracted, and then gone this way, and then coming back. And then the FBI steps in. He clears a crime scene. The FBI steps in, and then they open up the crime scene again, and then they find more, and then they come back out. Now, we know that her car was towed. It was about midnight or so. And I watched it as it was happening in Arizona when they took Nancy's car from the garage. I feel that there was a struggle. I feel that Nancy struggled the best she could, and I think that's why she got a bloody nose. This man, and the other thing that I saw was that she knows who is involved. This has to do with someone who has ties to Europe. Out of the country, foreign. It has ties to someone in her family. All of these scripted, I've never seen this, as many, I'm just going to say, as many kidnapping, abductions that I have seen. I've never seen anything like this, where they present the family with these written statements. And then the odd thing is that Savannah says something, a line out of the Silence of the Lambs movie. Something about, talk to her, you'll see. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Odd. Now, this last ransom message, I'm going to call it that. I'm sure they're using VPNs and all this other. Now, I want to explain something before I really get into this. I've worked with some high-level, high-net-worth clients, and especially over the last 15 years. Sometimes financial transactions require a proof of life. A proof of life in that realm, and so you can understand, because there is a lot of AI and there is a lot of finagling and there is a lot of different things. A proof of life in that arena, my arena, is a picture of the person holding up their passport or their driver's license with a newspaper, and with the date circled. Several shots. It can be a front shot, it can be a side shot. And I'm wondering, there's the Circle K. Did somebody stop by and get a newspaper? I mean, that's far out there, okay? But that's where my mind goes, because now, as far as all this, I understand why it's scripted, but it unnerves me a little bit to have them look at the camera and then look down at the script and look at the camera. So there's a tightness there that they're trying to maintain and protect. The looks on Annie's face, and especially when Savannah said something about that, look at her, tell that line from whatever it is, that movie, Silence of the Lambs, the look on her face is like she took a breath. And I watched that. There's something so sus about this that I don't like it. There's some poetic justice coming, but the sheriff said, oh no, we don't have any suspects. No, but they've got persons of interest. It's a different thing. Very minute, but different. And they're certainly not going to tell us. They're not going to tell anybody. Because now they're depending upon who did this to start surfacing. And that person has. And they have until Monday, which is the 9th. Okay. Today is the 7th. Time is needed. Stolen. I believe there's money that has been stolen. And of course, Nancy has been stolen. There's poetic justice with the raven. So, have you ever heard of an expression, as the crow flies? Annie and her husband are about 4 miles from Nancy's house as the crow flies. That means when you're not taking roads and you're just going over top, flying over. She's close by. That's what that means to me. You see? Poetic justice. That's why you have to look harder into these things. And it's very hard not to get emotionally involved with these missing people cases because there's a lot of emotional energy. But this right here really takes my eye because you see, both jokers are over top. This is the one that is more severe. This one is, okay, there's a secret here, but this one is, it's time to look closer. You need to look closer, people, at this dude right here because the FBI showed up at Annie's house. And that's exactly what they're doing. There's definitely a secret. There's definitely something that's hidden, and they're finding it. And it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. Now, a childlike new beginning with a timing card. That's the Ace of Diamonds. Now, the diamonds are air elements in my deck and how I teach, always has been, There's several methods and ways of teaching. These are just the meanings of the cards that I go by. So I'm not saying anybody's right or anybody's wrong. You do you, and this is me. So this is a spring timing card, and there is a brand new beginning here, but a childlike new beginning. A childlike new beginning doesn't mean it has to be happy. A childlike new beginning can mean that it is eye-opening. It is what happens at birth. A birth can almost be a traumatic experience, especially for a baby. You go from a very controlled and safe environment, and then you're just thrown out into this big world. Crying, you come into this world crying sometimes. No jokes, though. But it is a transition, and that's what it really means. A childlike new beginning. Childlike means you're not informed. You're not educated. A child is definitely, they have to be taught. So there's a brand new beginning. And I don't think it's a good one. And look at this. So there's something. This is not a one-person job here, my darlings. There is definitely something, someone, and here we are with the number 8, which is pointing to everything financial for me. And this is haunted by the past. So there's something that has happened. So while one person is involved, who I believe is a person of interest, that person of interest has ties. Let's look to see what they are. So the reason I do this is now we get a confirmation and a foundation. And so I'm explaining how I do this because you'll probably be watching me do this on different cases as we go along, as I get really back and publicly show what I do. What I like to do first is lay a foundation and see what is confirmed or see if there is a completely different direction that we need to go in. So far, things are being confirmed as is. And we're going to see now what is predictive, what is confirming, what we can look forward to, and if there's anything, dates or anything else coming up. Also a number 8. So that represents Nancy. And that represents the fact that she's definitely not capable and not in a way where she can make a run for it. Okay? And again, swords, air element, communication. The proof of life, quite frankly, I don't see they're going to get one today. I don't see they're going to get one tomorrow, being Sunday. And Monday, I'm going to say there may be more communication come from those people who say that because they know they're coming to the end. And I believe for the FBI to now take down the crime, the tape, take down the crime scene, all this other, and just leave, tells me that they're getting ready to make an announcement. We're going to see that very, very soon. And it may be before Monday, if not Tuesday, I believe at the very latest. We have another air element here with the swords, and you can always tell they're air elements because they always make these cards breezy and they've got little birds in them. This, my darlings, and look, we've got the Page and the Knight of Swords. 2 nicknames for these fellows. The Page of Swords, you see him, he's standing there ready, willing, and able. Remember, if you ever heard those, the acronym for ready, willing, and able is an RWA. And RWA means that everything is put in place, you're ready to execute. And now, this fellow is standing here, ready, willing, and able, and it's because his sword goes off the frame of the card, just like this knight, which means they're not done yet. things are breezy. And in the swords element, now look, we've got a king here. You see how calm it is with the king? And as you move on, the queen gets, she's not out here, but the queen gets a little bit more breezy. And then the page gets a little bit more breezy. And then look at the knight. He is in full-blown wind. The nicknames for these fellows, the Prince of Wind and Breeze, and this is the Lord of Wind and Breeze. And it's because they have a command. They head things off. They cut it off. Face things. They go against the wind. You can say inherit the wind. Look up that Bible verse where it says inherit the wind. Those who bring problems and issues on their family will inherit the wind. Look that one up. These two means they're getting closer. Now, obviously this is family, the 10 of Swords. That's that 3 a.m. hour where you are not having a good night. And you're sitting here and doing the, well, if I did this and if I did that, would it... You're working through things in your mind. Being on top of this childlike new beginning, I'm having a hard time saying it. But they're facing things now, and they're going to really start facing things. I believe the FBI may have an indication of how Nancy is already. They found a camera that was on top of the house. Don't know. I mean, without having a service, was the images rewritten? We don't know. This Ace of Wands is also timing, and it's also, for me, a winter timing card in which that Ace of Wands, it's opening doors, and look, who's on top? It's opening doors, and it's a fire element, which means let's go. Putting that fire in the belly, putting things into perspective, and using creativity where they need to. So we have a very grounding pentacle on top of the time to look closer. And then we have this king who is wise, has experience, who is on top of this secrets card. This is telling me this is consistency. Now they're looking for a consistent way for this ransom message to come through. Obviously, they're rerouting this through foreign countries and so on and so on and so on. And unfortunately, it almost becomes impossible for them to track. And by using it through the website, instead of contacting the family directly, but there are some things there that mention the sister Annie, the brother-in-law, how they first got a first note, this sort of thing. And we've already had one arrest, and that person is in California, and he will be arraigned. And that's for false ransom. This is a judgment card, and I like to say discernment. And you see how her wings go off the frame of the card. Now her wings, and sometimes this little cross here, this little flag, can indicate that there's a medical issue. I like to call this the discernment card. Using judgment, good judgment, using discernment. And this is a card that basically says it's time to wake up. Let's go. Now, the haunted by the past. Again, it's time to wake up and start looking at everything that this card points to. Now, while I have you here, if you'll please do me a favor, put your DNA on your like button, please. Put your DNA on the subscribe button, please. Sure would help me. I appreciate you so much. All right, so here we go. This is a Virgo. But here we are. The two men, the one younger. We do have a woman here, but the bride is talking about fulfillment of news. But look, she's now looking at the snake, which means a calamity. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Here we have the dogs. I do believe the dogs found something. We have a number 11, which is a master builder, which is a foundation, which I believe they found it at her house. The 5 of diamonds, indecision, but we have an anchor here. And this anchor is a breach of trust. Basically, an infidelity. And near the dog, it's a breach of trust. And right there it is. But it's an unfortunate success. It's looking at an outcome that you don't want. With the clouds here, it indicates a dark time. And look what cards we're on. This 10 of diamonds. In the cards and in the tarot, the 10s mark the end of that particular suit, and then you go into the royals or into the majors. This is, for me, all about home, all about new beginnings. It could be a move, it could be a holiday, and it is definitely family. But based on the cards that we have here, I'm going to show you what this shows, okay? I'm not going to say it. I want you to read the last line. You see that? Which will be at the hands of another. The book is all about this mystery, and this right here, this is the mystery man. This one is all about money, success on a business venture, and a business somewhere else. Why do I want to say Italy? I don't know. But this snake, the book basically means it's a degree of distance, which means this guy is arm's length from this guy. Basically as, okay, we've got the guy for you. When you're trying to figure out how to do something, okay, I got the person for you. It almost feels like they found him on Craigslist, doesn't it? Because it's like they keep messing up. But that sheriff, sorry, you may feel differently, and I apologize. No, I don't. That's my opinion, and I don't want to upset anybody, but here we go. This 8 of clubs is a card that is all about mountains. It's finding that mountain, and also it's a gamble card. It's all about gambling, and it's the number 8. It's gambling, but not a casino in this particular point. It's got a snake there. It's a risk gamble, and that's what these people took, a risk. Now they know what they're facing. Now they know. Bottom line, the snake is all about calamity. This is a card this is a Leo, which is a strength card. This is an Aquarius. Now, 3 of Swords, broken heart on the surface. But look, swords are communication. So the messages, the communication will be heartbreaking. Basically holding on tight. Being grounded, hold on tight. Money has been an issue, but I don't see the family paying the ransom. And believe me, no proof of life, no ransom. Sorry about your luck. Once again, a little story from your Aunt Zelda here. Again, talking about high net wealth individuals. Some of these people have kidnap insurance. Yes, that's a thing. Especially when you get up into the multiple billion, multiple million, multiple billionaires. They have kidnapping insurance, and especially on their children, especially on parents and close relatives. And that they will pay ransoms, that they will do this sort of thing. The FBI is the best in the business when it comes to kidnappings, with negotiating. I can tell you right now that they know. I also believe the family know, but I also heard, I don't know if it's true, that the siblings, Savannah, Annie, and Cameron, I believe that's his name, forgive me if it's not, the brother, decided to make that video themselves without direction. The sheriff, I think, mentioned that they did it on their own. They didn't have any direction to do that. It could be why it was scripted. I don't know. But right, that whole thing is a little, it just raises my eyebrow. My first and foremost thing, get Nancy back. Find out where she is. That's number one priority. But look at what we have here. The infinite symbol, which looks like a what? Well, a number 8. The pendulum points toward a mountain or park. This just could be a big mountain to climb. And if you hear that with them saying it, you'll know. But this strength card is an indication for everybody to stay strong, but there's a puzzle within this strength card. Let me show you. The strength card means that in any normal day, this woman would not be able to overcome this cat. She has to figure things out. And she figured out by not brute strength, but by mind power, knowledge is power, and she figured out how she could manipulate this little guy through his mouth. And that's why she's holding it that way. She's overcoming. She has a victory wreath, a wreath of laurel, and also around her waist. But here's the puzzle. You see, there's a curve in her back here. It goes like this. And then we have a curve in this fellow's back that goes like this. Two pieces, no matter what, the pieces of this puzzle are coming together. That's the power of knowledge, and that's the power of strength, which will get you an infinite amount of victory every time. Here is the star card. Yes, I had to put clothes on her because, well, the tubes of you don't like it when she doesn't have clothes on. Okay, so she is an Aquarian. This is all about balance. And being this Aquarius, oddly enough, we've got all this water. Water comes from the high priestess robes, and water is the breath of life, or it's a life force. Can't live without water. She's pouring water out here and pouring water out here. And this is all about a very spiritual card, meaning that your goals, your precious prayers, your petitions have and are heard, always. It's a matter of balance, and this basically is balancing the conscious and the subconscious mind. There's so much balance in here, and look at this fellow holding on. And that tells me right now, I mean, tomorrow may be different. Things are happening pretty quickly. I'm going to stay with this. until we have a resolution, until they make their announcement. And then I'm not quitting. We're still going to go. And then we'll transcend into another missing case. All right. And many of you have given me a lot of lists. And I think we may be doing the Sebastian Rogers next. I hope I said his name right. I feel horrible when I do that, but you know. So what are we learning? As time goes on, there's the lesson. And there's the secret. Two sevens out here. And there's the children that go along with this childlike new beginning. This queen is an air element. She's all about friendliness, disposition, gentleness. This moon, the 5 of hearts, is another indecision card. But this card is one that will expose secrets. Now look at this. And look, we've got a secrets card out here. Hello. Don't you love it when they all... That's why I put so many cards out. That's why I've always done it. That's the way I always will. And that's what's always worked with me. This railroad, a long journey, but it also can mean that it is a serious, serious accident and a robbery. I do not believe that I'm going to tell you what I believe based on what I've seen, okay? The injury was from Nancy's nose. I believe there was a struggle. I do not believe that money was the sole purpose. I believe there is another purpose on top of this. I do believe there is an association with a foreign country. I do believe we have a person of interest that the family knows. I'm just going to say it that way. A couple of days ago, there was a message that it was the brother-in-law, Tomasini, I think. I don't know. I can't pronounce his name. You know who I mean. Annie's husband. We're going to know. The DOJ, and they're going to go hard on him. And they should, because quite frankly, I'm having difficult believing that Nancy is still with us. And that was as of last night. Now, this is one time I'm going to tell you, I really hope and pray that I am wrong. I want to be wrong on that. And I will not be upset if they find her and she's okay and you all come back and say, oh, Zelda, you were wrong. I'm going to say, good. So be it. Give me a second. You know I had to get another deck of cards. Okay, we're just going to take another deck here. We've got another long video, and I want to thank you, my darlings. And you see, look, there's a secret and a key. Keys are really important, my darlings. My sweetheart gave me this. Comes in handy. Eternal charisma. Destiny with a key. Growth of energy, good. Confidence. And let go. Okay. What this is telling us here, my dearlings and my darlings, at this point, we can't go back. There's a lot of confidence that this is coming to an end, and it may come to an abrupt end. Keep looking. But I believe letting go. And you see, that is also a water sign. Look at that little crab there, the sign of Cancer. Growth of energy. And here I am with the Kipper deck. Okay. Someone said that my readings look chaotic with all my cards. Well, today I'm certainly not disappointing them. Thank you. Wow, wow, just wow. There will be an arrest, my darlings. They knew who it was within the first 5 days. The fifth day, remember, 24-hour periods. That's why the show 48 hours, because law enforcement doesn't go just by a 12-hour. They go 48. They go by 24-hour clock. The first 48 hours are so important. I believe that they knew within the first 5 days of her disappearance. Somebody's going to jail, and this will be justified. And look, a man and a woman standing in front of a judge. I believe there are 3 people. We may not know of the third one. But yeah, somebody has turned out to be a real rat. That's it for right now, my darlings. Keep watching. Thanks for being here. I love you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. If not later today, tomorrow. Bye for now.